actually, a cabinet reshuffle, and of course the biggest headline of that is Dr Shane Reti, no longer Minister of Health. Joining us on the program now, political commentator Dr Bryce Edwards. Bryce, kia ora, good morning.
Maureen, Andrew.
I mean, this is the biggest political story in a while. And, I mean, things weren't great in health, that was obvious, but this is a bold move by the Prime Minister.
No one was really picking a reshuffle that was about to occur. And so this is surprising. No one's particularly surprised, though, that Shane Reti has gone. I don't think there's anyone that thinks he's performed particularly badly, but health has remained a big issue for the government. Shane Reti certainly hasn't fixed things or managed to convince the public that everything is okay in health. So Nationals bringing in their rising superstar Simeon Brown to replace him. And I don't think that's a shock. National need to actually not just slowly but surely manage health, but they need to make some big changes. They need someone to deliver things. And Simeon Brown has proved himself in that regard. So across the political spectrum of commentators, analysts, Simeon Brown is someone that's impressed watchers of this government. Even those that might disagree with him politically, they have some respect for the fact that he gets things done, and that's really what Luxon has wanted here. And of course, economically as well, this reshuffle has given Nicola Willis a bit more power and emphasised that this year is all about economic growth by giving her this new portfolio, economic growth minister.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two big ones. But of course, with Simeon Brown taking on health, he was pretty busy beforehand, which means that he has to divest those portfolios, which he was making some good progress in, as you mentioned. So a bit of a windfall for some other ministers.
Yeah, the transport is the big one, and that's gone to Chris Bishop, again, another minister that seemed to be performing very well and very capable. And I think transport as a portfolio does go quite well with the other Bishop roles in housing and infrastructure. And of course, what else? Simeon Brown was local government and energy, and they've been split and gone, I think, to Simon Watts for local government and energy. I forget at the moment where energy's gone.
You would think Simon Watts would be a match for energy, given the name. But anyway,
yes.
and I suppose it is opportunities for other ministers to show their mettle. I mean, Simeon Brown is the superstar, but other people get to have a go and see what they can do with that. Just wanting to say what this means for Shane Reti. The Prime Minister says he still has confidence in him as a minister, but I mean, it's not necessarily. Well, it's the opposite of a gold star, isn't it?
It's certainly a blow for Reti's career and his standing. I mean, he's dropped immediately from being ranked fourth in the national government down to ninth. So no, that's not great. And of course, at one stage he was the deputy leader of the party under Judith Collins. So I think there will be some regret there that they've lost someone that is also still taken very seriously and is liked across the political spectrum, I think. But, and some people are criticising the government for taking away a doctor who was a Minister of Health. It's not always the case that you have a doctor as Minister of Health, but there's also a perception that sometimes those that are too close to the health system in their own kind of personal lives can't see the wood for the trees. They can't really take a big picture view of things. And certainly Shane Reti was kind of known for getting in at the ground level, and he was visiting hospitals and ambulances and so forth. But maybe if you really want some big change to get things done, you need someone that, like Simeon Brown, that is a bit more disconnected and can just come in there and sort of knock heads together and deliver.
And we'll, I suppose, wait and see what happens with that. With the other appointment that you mentioned with Nicola Willis, a new position actually. Minister of Economic Growth. Again, that makes a bold statement at the beginning of 2025.
Yes, I mean, she's already Minister of Finance. That's her huge portfolio. I mean, uh, she's picked up this portfolio off Melissa Lee, who is the only minister to be demoted
Yeah.
Out of having a ministerial role, which is significant in itself. So Melissa Lee actually had this economic development portfolio. It's been rejigged and renamed as economic growth and given to Nicola Willis. And I think it will be quite a rejigged and enhanced role because it controls MB. So it means that Nicola Willis really is becoming a bit of a mega minister. And yeah, this government keeps on talking about growth, growth, growth. Well, that's what Luxon says. And so I think they're aware that they really need to turn things around a bit more
Yep.
economically if they're going to be re-elected. I mean, we just see Biden, President Biden, leaving office effectively today.
Yep.
Partly, I think, because of the sense that voters didn't perceive the economy being turned around by him. There wasn't growth. And so National doesn't want to make that mistake. So they're really ramping up that growth rhetoric and hopefully growth achievements.
Is this a good look for Christopher Luxon as Prime Minister? I mean, in his press announcement, straight back from a successful trade deal with UAE, this will be the year for growth, he says, and an opening, not with health, but with talking about the economy, what they've achieved so far. This will be their focus for the year. Is this a good way for him to kick off 2025?
Well, there's some commentators that are saying it looked a bit panicked and that, certainly there was a poll out on Friday,
Yep.
the Taxpayer Union Courier poll that showed National had dropped down below Labour for the first time since the change of government. And it showed that more people thought that the country is on the wrong track than think it's on the right track. So those were some pretty bad signs. But no, I think he'll look strong from this. He will look like he isn't putting up with poor performers. It will look like he's, responding to the public and keeping the cabinet fresh. And it's very much what John Key used to do. So, yeah, no, I think it will work well for him. It gets the government off on the right foot before Ratana.
Yep.
In fact, they've got a retreat. They've got the National Party annual retreat coming up in a few days' time. I think it looks very, front foot stuff.
Exactly. And I mean, as you say, Ratana coming up this weekend, that's in some ways the beginning of the political year. Well, it has been traditionally for Christopher Luxon to front foot that by having this political announcement. There's no way that this could be a reaction to the poll. This is something which, yes, appears to have happened quickly, but this would have been happening behind the scenes for some time over the first part of the summer?
Oh, look, absolutely. And I think all governments just need to show that they're not arrogant, that they're not complacent. And so, this suggests that. So it's the second time that Luxon has done a reshuffle in the first year. Of course, he did one about 6 months ago, demoting Melissa Lee and Penny Simmons. It keeps his ministers on notice.
Exactly.
I think it's a smart thing to do.
Sharpen up, yeah. Hey, Bryce, lovely to talk with you at the beginning of 2025. Look forward to more conversations throughout the year. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.